¿Desea usted un país de calidad? Entregue calidad. Exija calidad.
Televisión argentina de calidad. Clase Ejecutiva. El programa televisivo argentino con certificación de calidad ISO 9001-2008.
Una producción Nova Patagonia.
Buenas noches, bienvenidos a Clase Ejecutiva. A ver, tengo una frase que es extraordinaria y que muestra lo que vamos a ver hoy. El mundo es un libro y aquellos que no viajan solo leen una página. Esta frase es de San Agustín y es un poco el espíritu también de Clase Ejecutiva. Mostrar el mundo. Y hoy lo que vamos a mostrar es otro ejemplo de Suiza. Como hemos visto en emisiones precedentes, Suiza es un país líder en el ámbito de la ciencia, la investigación, la tecnología, y está trabajando muy seriamente para hacer frente a los temas de eficiencia energética, sustentabilidad, y tratando de encontrar soluciones concretas al respecto. En el marco del programa La Solución Suiza, Tormenta de Ideas al Futuro, auspiciado por el Departamento Federal de Asuntos Exteriores de dicho país, por la Secretaría de Educación e Investigación, y en colaboración con su Oficina Federal de Transporte, deseamos consultar justamente a un especialista suizo, de transporte. Le hice yo un juego a la cámara. ¿Saben por qué? Porque ahora, después de los títulos, vamos a ver Clase Ejecutiva. Sí, señores, Transportes, la solución suiza. ¿Cómo resuelve Suiza el tema de transportes? Y tenemos un invitado muy especial, el doctor Rolf Signer. Dr. Signer, thank you for coming. It's a pleasure to receive you here, to have you here in Clase Ejecutiva.
Great, thank you.
Let me introduce you to the audience. El doctor Signer es especialista en planeamiento y desarrollo territorial, ingeniero en desarrollo rural de la Universidad ETH de Zurich, estudios de posgrado y doctorado en planificación territorial en dicha universidad. Él trabaja como consultor en temas de ordenamiento territorial y realiza estudios de planeamiento a escala urbana y regional, les decía, para Suiza y otros países del mundo. Se desempeña en el Departamento de Ingeniería Civil, Ambiental y Geomática y es profesor de Metodología del Planeamiento y Desarrollo en el Instituto Federal de Tecnología de Suiza, justamente. Es miembro de la Sociedad Internacional de Planificadores para Ciudades y Regiones. Desde 2009 es el presidente de la Sociedad de Estudios en Planeamiento, Arquitectura y Movilidad de Zurich. Y realmente es una eminencia en el tema que deseamos consultar. Y si me permiten, yo le querría preguntar al doctor Signer, what are the major transport challenges in nowadays world?
Yeah, it depends a bit on in which place of the world you live. If you take the example of Switzerland, we have high mobility on both the individual and public transportation level, and it shows that we are going to reach some limits there. So it is important to know how we can expand our system, how we can maintain our system, and how it can be coordinated with the development of the settlement. Mm-hmm. And the climatic problems.
Are there huge differences between freight and passenger transport?
If we consider the Swiss example, there are, because if you take it very simple, we can say that there is an east-western relationship which is heavy loaded by passenger traffic, and the north-south relation is heavily charged by European transalpine traffic. Mm-hmm. where Switzerland plays an important role on such corridors like the north-south corridor between Rotterdam and Genoa, the North Sea and Mediterranean.
I had the chance to visit the Alp Transit Tunnel, and it's a huge thing you have, and perhaps you are going to explain to us why did you decide to do such a tunnel, because it's the longest in the world.
It will be the longest, yeah.
And it's for rail transportation. And very often we listen to many experts saying, or people, opinion makers, opinion leaders saying that train is only for plain countries. And you are not a plain country at all.
No, not at all, indeed. And historically speaking, we have had very early railway systems in the mountainous areas as well. But the Alpine barrier is a big one, not only for the Swiss system, but also for France and Italy and Austria. So there is an old problem how to come from north to south via the Alps. And the shortest way is via Switzerland. That's valid also for trucks. And the problems of trucks was actually one of the key issues why Swiss people decided to have a railway tunnel of such a length in order to transfer truck traffic to the railway traffic, which is underway. Compared to France and Italy, we have a high share of cargo traffic on the rail, and especially Austria has big problems in Tyrol with the trucks.
Is the train, the rail transportation, more efficient, both from energy and economy point of view?
I think if we take the trucks or the goods on the train, it is, certainly is. We have longer trains, we have less driver capacity to have, we have reliable, more or less reliable timetables. So this is, I think, no question. And with regard to ecological problems within such a sensitive region like the Alpine region, it's as well a good idea to have the trucks not on the road but on the rail. Think of emissions like noise or CO2.
Dr. Signer, you mentioned reliability. And I would like, you being from Switzerland, I would like to ask you a question. Why is punctuality important?
The first answer is because we are a country of watches. But it is not the point you mentioned. From the point of view of economy, it is important to have a certain reliability, not to lose time. That's why the whole system in public transportation is an integrated system. What is on the table is just an example.
I don't know whether, yo no sé si lo pueden tomar desde la grúa el mapa, pero tenemos un mapa con toda el sistema integrado de transporte de Suiza. Yo no sé si se alcanza a ver, pero es algo extraordinario. Sorry. I was explaining to the audience.
It's not important to see every detail, just to have an impression of how it works. The integration of all kind of transports is here visible. People who want to travel do not have to consult 20 or 30 timetables or 20 or 30 maps. They can rely on the interconnectivity. They can rely on that if they arrive in a certain city, they arrive on punctual and will get the next train to go on, or the next bus to go on, or the next tram to go on.
Is it more expensive not to be punctual?
Yeah, of course.
Please,
both. It's both for the operators. It is it is bad because he has to plan buffers, an additional train, which he has to put into the network if one fails. And it is for the customer it is bad because he will miss the links. So from the economic point of view, it is important to be reliable, but it is not important to be as fast as possible. There is a certain necessity to be fast in order to have the interconnectivity, but not on, at any end, for any end.
We are going to talk about that issue after the break. Do you mind?
Okay.
Nos vamos a ir a un corte y vamos a volver con transportes, la solución suiza aquí en clase ejecutiva.
El laboratorio transnacional de origen argentino, líder en salud, performance y productividad animal. La industria alimentaria argentina tiene un proveedor líder, el bahiense. Materias primas, aditivos y químicos para la industria alimentaria. www.elbahiense.com.
Volvemos con transporte, la solución suiza aquí en clase ejecutiva. Estamos entrevistando al doctor Rolf Signer. Dr. Signer, you very often mention reliability and interconnectivity in your transportation system. And you mention it and you emphasize it as a very crucial factor, technically talking. What do you mean exactly by interconnectivity in your transportation system?
There are several aspects concerning interconnectivity. The first is that all the operators of their systems work together. That is, they have certain hubs where their trains meet, and they have certain timetables which are coordinated. Furthermore, the tariff system is integrated too, so you do not have to buy another ticket every time you change the mode or the operator. So in agglomerations you have one ticket for all. That's a slogan. On the Swiss level you have one half-fare travel card, for instance, for all, and this is valid for almost everything here, even the cable cars and the boats.
According to the Swiss political system of direct democracy, I mean, major decisions are subject to the vote of electors. So the question is, what have the Swiss people chosen for their public transport?
Yeah. We go back some 40 years, where everywhere in Europe there were plans to implement high-speed trains. This was also the case for Switzerland. The government had a plan to implement one east-west and one north-south high-speed track. So due to the federalism in our country, we do not have a very strong central government, but we have 26 cantons on a lower level which have a certain power. They said, okay, this is not a good idea because most of us do not have any profits of that plan. We do want to have another solution for us, specific for us. Mm-hmm. And then there were people who found out another solution. The solution was a kind of an integrated network. That's what I tried to explain before. The slogan or the name of that project was Rail and Bus 2000. Not Rail 2000, but Rail and Bus 2000, because many of our regions are mountainous, mm-hmm. not apt for too much railway. They have to get an accessibility through buses. Buses on the landscape, buses also in smaller cities and towns. This was subject to a plebiscite of national level. And people voted and said that is okay, we want to have that. And was step by step implemented. Was a systematic timetable implemented, and step by step the integration grew. At the beginning we had only 1 train per hour, then we had 2 trains per hour systematically. Now we have in certain relationships 4 trains an hour. And this went out to the post buses, this went out into the cities with the trams, the hubs in the railway stations with the tramway systems and so on. And even with boats, the boats are integrated. Look at the Lake of Lucerne, for instance.
I saw that, and I had the chance also to interview Mrs. the Mayor of Zurich, Mrs. Corinne Mauch. Yeah. And she told me about this issue, and also about the fact that her compromise, her commitment to save energy, the 2000 watt society. And I think that's very important, and I wanted to ask you about that in terms of energetic efficiency, train or bus, boat, or everything.
There is no absolute level of to say it's a good idea to take trains or not, because, for instance, high-speed trains use a lot of energy. Building tunnels uses a lot of energy. But you have to consider the system as a whole. And if people travel with the trains regularly, and they do not travel by car, they save a lot of money. But this is a question of context and culture. I show you this little card.
May I?
Yes.
This is a very good tool, which is the, well, do you explain it?
It's called half-price travel card. This has been existing for years and years. But the point was that the price was too high. People didn't want to have it. If you have it, you get your tickets for the half of the price. So in the 60s, they had an idea to sell that for 100 francs. And the billet of 100 francs had a picture of an architect called Borromini. So this is the nickname of that is Borromini. Now we have a population in Switzerland of 8 million, and 2.5 million of our residents have that card. So one can say Swiss people love to travel by rail. They are world champions with regard to the distance.
and freight too. I mean,
freight,
not only passenger transport.
Yeah.
What do you think that Argentinians and Argentina could take from your experience, from your know-how, your knowledge?
I could put it with the slogan of integration in several ways. The integration of spatial development and the infrastructure development is the one side of the coin. Not to plan only infrastructure and to let aside settlement development. This is the first thing. And the second thing is to integrate the operators, to integrate the systems of the different modes of transport, to integrate the timetable, to have one timetable, and to integrate the fares. That is, I think, a success story in Switzerland.
I would like to ask you, after the commercial break, something about the planning in Argentina. Do you mind?
Okay.
Ya volvemos, después de la pausa, cortita, con más transporte, la solución suiza, aquí en Clase Ejecutiva.
En Argentina todavía queda gente buena. Electropelva, un equipo de 100 personas a su servicio. Materiales eléctricos e iluminación para hogares, industrias, construcción, comercios e infraestructura. www.electropelva.com.
En Santiago del Estero, lo importante se vuelve urgente. Por eso seguimos sumando, tomando decisiones clave, construyendo un presente más confiable a cada paso. Ya promulgamos la Ley de Promoción Industrial para beneficiar en serio la inversión y el crecimiento. En Santiago ya estamos cambiando y se nota. Gobierno de Santiago del Estero, por una nueva provincia.
Televisión Argentina de calidad. Clase Ejecutiva. El programa televisivo argentino con certificación de calidad ISO 9001-2008.
Estamos en clase ejecutiva analizando con el profesor de origen suizo y especialista, digamos, de todo lo que es planificación territorial, justamente qué hacer a partir del ejemplo que cómo hicieron ellos en Suiza, ¿no? Dr. Signer, what would you do, the first step to plan a transformation, a transport transformation in Argentina? What would the first step be?
Find out a way how to get priorities in spending the money, priorities in the kind of problems to solve, priorities in integrated treatment of the things I mentioned before, that is settlement and infrastructure development. And in order to do that, it would be necessary to have an idea about such themes of national importance or regions of national importance to make that kind of assessment of the situation.
Which are the steps of planning a city, for example, or a region?
There are different ways. I give you my preferred. My preferred, it's not only my preferred, but it's the preferred in our culture at the ETH, where I am too. That is, begin with problems. The slogan is problems first, find out what the current problems are and find out what the future problems will probably be. So this kind of process is called an exploration. And an exploration has always to do with possible solutions. So there is not just an analysis of problems, but also to find out ways how to solve them. This is the way we would suggest to start.
Well, is it true that, I mean, most of today transportation is not sustainable from energetic, both energetic and economic point of view? Is that true? Till a certain
I
extent?
think it is difficult to judge only the transportation system. The transportation system is in function with the settlement and with the mobility culture and the political culture. So you have to consider the whole package. I give you another example of this culture, which can be illustrated
let me show it. You can show it. Este es un boletín que reciben, si me alejas lo abro porque es extraordinario. Esto lo reciben más o menos 4 veces al año. Es un boletín con las propuestas que tienen. Well, you can explain it. Todos los electores lo reciben. You can explain it.
Yeah, I will.
Let us know what it's about.
The project of Rail and Bus 2000 was also such a project. So the government has to produce such a newspaper in order to inform the citizens what the questions are.
Well, that's sorry, but that means that you are preserving your politics system, which is a direct democracy.
Yep.
Just for a just for 1 second, unos regalitos, por favor, señor director, para nuestro invitado de hoy.
Eurotime Outdoor Watches. Relojes deportivos con funciones adicionales para todos los deportes extremos. Agrofarma, el main sponsor de Clase Ejecutiva.
Bueno, invitamos a nuestro invitado distinguido de hoy a cenar a Cetebaco, Agüero 2157. Me salió medio paisano. 4808-0021, www.cetebaco.com.ar. Very good Mediterranean food. You are formally invited.
Thank you.
Be our guest. We have 1 minute and a half.
Yeah.
And please, tell us about this, because, I mean, there are now so many places in the world that this thing happens.
Yes.
I mean, perhaps only in Switzerland.
The city I live in is Zurich. It has 380,000 inhabitants. It's the biggest city in Switzerland. And in last November, voters were asked to ask 4 proposals. And they have all to do with spatial planning and transportation. And the questions are very often about money. Do you want to spend 10 millions? Yes or no?
And you ask the people.
Yes,
do you want
the people
to expand that?
That's it. And you have to give an explanation. And this explanation is here in this paper. And government do not lie.
I mean, they could.
They could.
Once. Only once.
Oh, that's right.
Otherwise, everything is written.
Yeah, everything is written. And there's a public debate some weeks before the plebiscite takes place in the media and in public discussions. A big debate.
Do you think that a country, any country, can progress and develop without a transportation plan?
No, certainly not.
Not at all?
No. But it's no good idea to have only a transportation plan.
A general plan?
It has to be integrated in settlement, it has to be integrated in the financing. Without financing, these are just good ideas.
Thank you very much. You have been very clear. And see you perhaps in Switzerland.
Good, thank you.
Nos escuchamos y nos vemos en Clase Ejecutiva.